All right, guys. Very important week for our team. Very thankful to be back at home in front of our fans as we take on, a really good football team, really well-coached football team. Brandon does a great job, and with Kellen Moore now as his coordinator on offense, you can see, on tape a lot of things that they're doing that are causing people a lot of problems. Really talented team. So we're going to need a great effort, from our team. We're already off to a great start prep-wise, having Monday being a bonus day that we got a little bit of a head start, got our players some rest this past weekend. So we'll continue that preparation. But our team's locked in right now. We know we have not played our best overall football yet, and that needs to be out in front of us very soon here. Just catching up on a couple of roster moves. Udo did indeed go to injured reserve. Really unfortunate injury for Oli, so he'll be out the rest of the year. With that open roster spot, we did sign, as you guys know, Dalton Risner, who we will, attempt to get up to speed as fast as possible. See how he progresses. The guys he's stepping on the practice field with have been playing football for the better part of 2 months now. So I know he's in shape. He's in great shape, and he's very excited to be here as we are to have him. So we'll see how he progresses day to day in kind of getting caught up. We don't have a lot of similar things in our offense from his time in Denver, even though we do have some coaches with some relationships with him, which I know played a big part in it. And we'll see kind of where things go from there. But very important that we have a good day on the practice field today. Another day tomorrow, and then we'll tighten this thing up and got to go play a good game on Sunday.
What are your hopes for your offensive line being healthy in terms of Bradbury and Darrisaw?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I wanted to give you guys an update. Both of those guys are progressing. Whether we have both for this week remains to be seen. I think CD is coming along really well, and we'll try to get him a little bit of work today and see how he feels tomorrow. But with both those guys, I want them feeling, as close to 100%, when they get back out there as we possibly can. But that's one of the reasons we brought Dalton in is just the depth of our O-line. We've played 8 quarters of football, and we've played 8 linemen. So regardless of positions, with the flexibility and the versatility of, some of our guys that we have here currently, and then bringing in a guy like Dalton who he'll tell you can play a lot of different spots. We want to see what that combination looks like. We want to see what type of grouping we can put on the field to move the football the best in the run and pass game. And then just to let you guys know, Hicks, Metellus will both they'll end up being limited today. Those guys are they had they've returned to play in the Philly game, had some soreness, but should be good from that standpoint.
So as you try to get Darrisaw ready, is Quisenberry the next guy there without Oli there?
Yeah, that's when you lose your swing tackle that we had a lot of confidence in Oli. Had played last year, played quite a bit for us over the stretch. There's a reason why we went out and got Dave, and for him to come in really with very, very limited work and had a great strain to finish block to give Kirk enough time on the touchdown to KJ, and just kind of stepped in, veteran presence, definitely not too big for him, and he's been great for the room, and I know it's not a move as talked about as others, but very important for our team, and we're lucky to have him.
In the longer term, if you can think longer term with Risner, like what do you envision there in terms of once he knows what he's doing scheme-wise?
I think we're going to play, we're going to play the best 5 combination we can. I think, looking at kind of the interior offensive line, you'd love to have Garrett back as fast as possible. I thought Austin stepped in, and there was a couple plays like everybody has against the Philadelphia Eagles front. But for the most part, for us to throw the football with the effectiveness we did, those guys, both, Austin and Ezra and Ed all did some really good things in the pass pro. And, we spent a lot of time over this past weekend as a coaching staff looking at our run game, looking at what we've done, what we can do clearly better, how we can coach it better, how I can call it better. So I think, collectively for that group up front, I want them to be the driving force behind that success. And, we're gonna work through it, Kevin. And ultimately, just with that depth now, you feel very much more comfortable than maybe you would have for the duration of a long season here, knowing we had already played 8 guys in 8 quarters. So we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll let Dalton get up to speed and continuing to pour into Ezra and Ed and all those interior guys, and hopefully get those CD back to join Brian on the right side this week.
You decided now was the time to bring Dalton in after bringing him in August, or was it performance from the last season?
I don't really want to get into the why now. Some of which sometimes it's hard to explain. Some of which is easy to explain. But I think the point is we feel good about our depth there, and now we allow. It's hard to have competition in season with the type of reps where we're preparing for an opponent versus look teams. But we will obviously have to, make decisions to get the best 5 guys on the field, and what that looks like, I can't tell you right now, and timelines for that. I do know Dalton is very intelligent. I do know he's, chomping at the bit to get going, and got here as fast as he could. But he's still only been here for essentially one walkthrough at this point, and we're in, about to start our Wednesday practice to prepare for the Chargers. So a lot to be determined.
That after the game that you have to emphasize not turning the ball over more. When you kind of look at the 7 turnovers, is it a lack of preparation, carelessness? Are there some commonalities that you can coach up, or is it just take care of the football?
Of those, when if you eliminate, reaching the ball out at the pylon, which we, coach, pretty hard as far as our situational masters, really only on 4th down and 2-point plays and things where the possession will end if you don't score a touchdown. Much like quarterback sneaks, when you can launch, over the pile on 4th down and reach that ball out. Brandon Powell on punt return phase, that was going to be plus 35-yard line after a really well executed punt return. And that happens going to the ground. Both of Alex Madison's fumbles happen going to the ground, which is a unique part to simulate in practice. We do things every day. We're going to do some things today to incorporate new aspects to maybe help with some of the things that we've seen on tape. As far as, trying to toss a ball on a wide, a perimeter play and bumping into the guard, I don't have a drill for that. And then as far as pocket presence goes, when we gotta make sure we keep Kirk clean, because he's been lights out when we've been able to protect him in the pocket, and a couple times there with one unscouted look and a pressure against Tampa, and then a bad play call by me to start the second half the other day against Philly. But we're going to coach it hard. It was a major message on Monday, major message today as far as what I think it's going to take to win the game for our team. And now we've got to we've done enough talking about it. We've got to come out here, practice, and prepare to try to be on the hunt to get our turnover margin back to 0 as fast as possible.
I know it's pretty common in coaching against your friends in this business, but I guess your feelings about coaching against Brandon.
Yeah, I know. Brandon and his family, his wife Amy, and his 3 boys. My family spent a lot of time with him over our time in LA. It's kind of a unique circumstance in COVID where we kind of homeschooled our kids together. Brandon's a very, very close friend of mine. So I do know how ultimately competitive he is, and he knows the same thing about me. I don't know how much talking we'll do with each other this week, but I care about him tremendously. I think he's a great, great football coach, and is somebody who I respect about as much as anybody in this league. So I know how much of a challenge it's going to be for our team. I know how much of a challenge it's going to be coaching against him. And we've got to be at our best, because he's bringing a good football team, a very well-coached football team to U.S. Bank on Sunday.
What all went into, you talked about revisiting the running game. What went into that process?
Yeah, I think, you watch them all. In order from the first run call, which was the first play of the season, all the way to the last one we've called. You figure out, okay, we've thrown some run solutions on some plays. To what were those plays looking like, and then what are we doing from a fundamental and technique standpoint that's showing up on tape, because that is the ultimate measuring stick of what you are in any phase of your football team, Alec. And we were able to find some things that we really wanted to emphasize with our guys starting on Monday. And so much of it just comes back to simple elements of technique, fundamentals, understanding of what we're trying to get done, where's the landmark of the back, where's the aiming point to where I could set my blocks based upon the leverage of the defender, and then the element of straining and finishing and making, every single run's got to be the standard of all 11 guys doing their job. And then us as coaches, what schemes can we clean up, add, eliminate, to make sure we're giving ourselves the best possible chance versus the looks that we're getting, I think that's going to be an ongoing thing. And then lastly, me as a play caller, just willing to commit to. I think we're 50% on the year on third down, which is up there in the league. And if we've got to have a few more third downs to essentially set our pads and get the run game going, that's something that we'll have to work through. I do know that our team's been able to move the football in spite of not having quite the success we've wanted to have in the running game, and I think that's a testament to some of the things our players are handling in the pass game and still having. I think we had 16 or so 10-yard plus completions on Thursday night to really move the football and stay in that game despite some of those self-inflicted things.
Given the way you guys have thrown the ball and just the amount of yards you've gotten, how do you sort of reconcile how hard to go at the running game? In other words, you want to be better, but your offense in total has moved the ball pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's just, once again, I think it's opportunities. It's making sure that we can be successful, Kevin, when we get drives started and going. So the efficiency of those runs and what we're calling and maybe how we're packaging those plays. Not every run needs to be packaged with another run. Not every pass needs to be packaged with a pass. We can get creative to try to truly hunt that premier world, which is not always easy because let's not forget you still got to block the 11 guys over there. And I do believe we've played two pretty good fronts. That have invested a lot in their fronts and their willingness to do that to not only stop the run but affect the quarterback as well. And we've had to overcome some adversity kind of within some matchups there early on. Be the same thing this week with two elite edge players that the Chargers have. They've got great depth, good linebackers, and maybe the best safety, one of the best safeties in the National Football League in Derwin James. So every week it's going to be a challenge. That's why, to me, it goes back to technique, fundamentals. What are we coaching? Are we seeing that show up on the tape? If not, how do we make sure we emphasize that? And it's one of the fun parts of the job is, when you can visually and collectively as a group identify some things and let's go fix them. Let's go try to do them better and see what that looks like.
A few questions. Kevin, it seems like Cam Bynum has made a lot of plays coming downhill against the run. What have you kind of sensed for him, just maybe with his comfort in this defense?
Yeah, I think our safety group as a whole just been, we kind of knew that they would be a strength of our team, strength of our defense a little bit in a lot of ways. That's why we kept all 6 of them, and I've seen it show up time and time again how Flo's using those guys, whether they're getting activated around the line of scrimmage, whether it's, checking things at the line, the communication, how they're able to get all 11 guys in conjunction with Jordan, as our green dot guy to really line up and play a lot of different ways. To credit to those guys, they're all really smart, they're tough, they're athletic. It's a great combination of safeties that we have, and we'll just keep on trying to use that group all season long to really propel what we want to do defensively.
What is that?
Say that one more time.
You mentioned a C2 split 2 drill. What is that?
Yeah, so, we've got basically, we try to vary 6 or 7 different ball security drills. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of the ones we've done since we've been here, all designed to really emphasize different aspects of ball security. C2 split 2s, when you're catching a ball in space, and 2 zoning defenders are there attempting to, converge and make the tackle. You've got to have great ball security to see that and then split those 2 defenders with great ball security and try to finish forward as fast as possible. So we work that. We work different types of gauntlets where we incorporate punching, different hammers, different every piece of equipment you can find on the internet to work ball security. If we didn't have it before, we've purchased it, and we will continue to do so and build drills to emphasize what we want to see out of our players.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.